Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending where you are in the world. I hope you and your families are doing well and in good health. First, I'd like to convey our deep sorrow and pain for the horrific Beirut explosion. Our hearts are painfully moved and go out to all the families of the victims, and we ask for God's blessing for all the people of Lebanon. Upon the successful organization of the first Middle East member states online meeting, which was held in April, which focused on UNWTO Healing Solutions Tourism Challenge, we are pleased today to welcome you to the second edition of this webinar on innovative healing solutions for the tourism private sector in the Middle East, confirming that we are ready to implement solutions to mitigate the COVID-19 impacts on our sector and provide support to travelers, businesses, and authorities. There were different healing solutions introduced to the tourism sector during the pandemic. It covered different areas, such as healing solutions for people focused on health and sanitary solutions, with projects trying to trace and stop the spread of the virus and infected people, and proposing alternative ways for governments to fight the disease. Most representative examples are those of Clean Scan and Checkpoint Smart Occupancy. Also, there were healing solutions for prosperity focused on economic solutions, with projects trying to optimize and generate additional revenues to hotels, tour operators, and so on. Most representative examples are those of hotel data, cloud, and others. Also, there are healing solutions for destinations, focused on destination rebranding, campaigns, airports, safety and crisis communications. Most representative examples are those of health security and beautiful destinations. It's a fact. Travel and tourism is among the sectors that are most affected by COVID-19 and required support right from the beginning for the millions of jobs at risk. Over the past few weeks, the world has been slowly opening up again to restart tourism, with destinations cautiously easing travel restrictions introduced in response to COVID-19. However, at this time, 100% of destinations worldwide continue to have some form of COVID-19 related to travel restrictions in place. We at the World Tourism Organization continue to assist our member states to restart tourism, to rebuild confidence in traveling, and to enhance tourism's contribution to the wider socioeconomic recovery. The UNWTO Global Tourism Crisis Committee approved the global guidelines to reopen tourism, which provide governments and businesses alike with comprehensive set of measures designed to help them open tourism again in a safe, seamless, and responsible manner. We at UNWTO trust our initiatives and efforts that were made will be able to assist all the governments and the private sector responsible for tourism to effectively tackle all the immense challenges our sector is facing. Global tourism has never been more united than it is now, both in assessing the impact of COVID-19 and in looking at how restarting tourism should be in a responsible way, based on the best that the sector has to offer in sustainability, innovation, collaboration, and solidarity. While the industry is reopening, it needs a standard-led approach which allows businesses and destinations to assess their ability to reopen under rather clear criteria. Also, a clear guidance to what it is safe to do, and the reassurance that travel is socially responsible and encouraged. Also, domestic tourism, which many countries are following now and implementing and restarting their tourism, and which might be faster to recover than will be faster to recover than international or business travel, with longer term financial support needed for the industry. I believe 2020 will never be forgotten, remembering all the travelers and tourists enjoying their staycations at home. I will now give the virtual floor to my colleague, Ms. Natalia Bayona, Senior Expert on Innovation and Digital Transformation in UNWTO. She will give you more information on healing solutions for our industry. Natalia is not only an expert in innovation, she's also a great friend of our region, and is constantly enthusiastic in everything that the region is doing. Natalia, the virtual floor is yours.
My dear Basma, it's my pleasure to be here today with you. And of course, I am delighted to talk today about innovation and digital transformation and how we can help our member states to strengthen the voice regarding this new reality. And of course, thanks a ton to all the participants. I see hundreds of them connected. So to me, it's a pleasure to be here today with you. So where we are and why innovation and sustainability has to be our new normal. Basically, as Basma said, the UNWTO has been working a lot on innovation and on digital transformation regarding new ways of taking into account youth and taking into account technological solutions. So under these moments where we have been facing different tough moments during this year, we decided to launch different challenges in order to empower youth. And when I am talking about youth, it's not only about young people, because most of the people say that we are only taking care about young people. Youth, it's on our minds, and of course, it's in our beliefs. So what we want and what we have been working during this year is to empower youth minds, innovative minds that are entrepreneurial minds that are trying to empower new ways and solutions to recover tourism and to rebound tourism again. So today it's my pleasure when I saw the program to see how the region is really committed on innovation. So we have, of course, different countries that have been accepted the challenge to be here today. I have seen Egyptian talent, and of course, we decided after those challenges that we have been promoting to bring here. Oh, wait me a sec. Always happens to us when we are working at home. So I was saying that basically when we are talking about these innovation solutions, we decided to empower talent. So that's why after I will speak today, we will join Middle East talent, and of course we have a special invitee today. That is Jessica Patel from Airside, that is one of the top finalists of the Healing Solutions Challenge. And the good thing is that she's already working with airlines and with the region in order to empower, once again, tourism and travel. and she's working, of course, with the Department of State of the US in order to help to open borders again. So that's why we decided to invite her today to tell us what is she doing. So with that said, since the world has become 100% digital, we have been facing a lot of new challenges. So to us, it's really important to mention at least 5 challenges that we have on the tourism sector. First of all, I have to say that sustainability is a must. And when we talk about sustainability, it's about taking care, of course, not only about the environment, about the people, about the communities, and how to engage solutions to develop a better impact for everybody. So this is time to think and to rethink how we can sustain tourism as one of the most human economic sectors, and how tourism can help different countries from the region to help the communities to access to economic growth, to access to education, to access to international cultures, etc. Second of all, of course, innovation. This is very important. We are facing a digital world, and nowadays more than ever, we need technology as the first driver to bring new solutions. That's why today we have wonderful challenges open for you. So first of all, we launched the first Sustainable Development Goals startup competition that is already open. We have received almost 300 solutions from more than 100 countries only in the first 2 weeks, but we need more. And we need you, Middle East talent, applying to these new ventures. Second of all, this is very important because this competition has the UN flagship, and of course we are working for the first time with top companies as Google, MasterCard, Plug and Play, that are top companies from all around the world that are empowering youth and those tech solutions in order to make tourism better for everybody. We have opened another challenge. So if you want to study, this is the moment for you, because we have launched a challenge with the most important group of universities in the world regarding hospitality, that is Summit Education. I know that you have heard about La Roche as a university, so we have partnered with them, and we have launched a hospitality challenge to rebound and to recover hospitality, to recover smart real estate, to recover food and beverage, to recover, of course, hotel operations, to recover the new luxury. So if you are interested on applying to that, this is very important what I'm going to say. They will give 30 100% paid scholarships to the winners that want to develop a new venture, and they will give 70,000 euros as seed capital per project. So this is very important because, as I already said since the beginning, the responsibility of recovering tourism is ours. It's a team building challenge. So that's why we decided to partner with them as well, because the ones that want to study and wants to rebound the hotel sector again, this is an amazing opportunity. Another opportunity that we have, as you know, the Middle East have been investing a lot in Africa. So we have developed another challenge to change the Africa, or to create a new promotional Africa brand. So this challenge is powered by CNN, because, as you know, communication and branding have to be together. So the ones that applied and that promote their solutions or their innovative ideas to promote Africa as a new region or as an emerging region, they would have the opportunity to work with the UNWTO communications team to launch their ideas in partnership with CNN. And of course, we can present these idea to all the ministers from Africa. So this is a spectacular opportunity to give back to a region that needs a lot of help today after COVID-19. So everything about these challenges are inside the UNWTO website. So if you need, go there, because to us it's really important to work together on this via. So I was talking about the challenges. I spoke about sustainability. I spoke about innovation. Third of all, this is very important because this is powered by the Middle East as well. That is digital skills, you know. So as you know, this world has been becoming digital. So that's why we need more people that knows a lot about digital skills, not only about doing a Zoom, the power behind doing a Zoom, all the technician things in order to make this happen. This is really important to have people that are empowered on these new ventures. So with that said, I have to say that growing and developing digital skills is a priority. We have the UNWTO Online Academy for You. So, and it's powered by one of the members of the Middle East. It's powered by Qatar, but of course, it's open to different countries of the world. So there we can have different content in order to empower you. And the good thing is that if you want to do the content, it's for free, because during COVID-19, we want you to empower your skills regarding tourism management. Fourth, and the fourth challenge we have today is regarding everything that is focused on jobs. So we have to preserve jobs, but as I already said, we have to mix. So the challenges, sustainability, innovation, and digital skills have to be mixed to create new jobs, to empower people, to create new ways of developing tourism. So that's why, thanks to technology and thanks to COVID-19, we have developed a lot of new scenarios where there are new opportunities for people to grow inside the tourism sector. For example, cybersecurity profiles, artificial intelligence profiles, digital marketing, big data analysts, professional online professionals for online events. Those are examples of new profiles that are creating a new way of developing tourism. So this is very important for the ones that works inside a company, inside the government, because we need those type of profiles in order to empower the jobs and not to lose much jobs thanks to this pandemic. And last but not least, it's about resilience, and it's about investments. As you know, investments and confidence have to be aligned. So if we work to rebound tourism, we need to be together and to empower corporates, to empower the private sector for rebuilding a new way of developing tourism, a new way of developing this new sector. And the only way is thinking about bringing back or giving back to the community, about having a social impact, about inclusiveness. So that's why my message, just to end today, is that the responsibility of recovering tourism is, of course, of all of you, of me, of Basma, of everyone here. It's a team building challenge. But if we want to develop a more sustainable, inclusive, and innovative tourism sector, we need to mix the digital skills with the youth, and of course, thinking about next generations as the way we can empower and we can promote tourism, and we can lead by example, saying that tourism is one of the main industries that is giving back to the community, and of course, that is giving back and that is using inclusiveness for economic growth and for recovering the sector. So with that said, my invitation is to, of course, work with us, follow us on our social media, and of course, to open. Here we have Basma and Jose and Hanan that are part of the UNWTO team, but we are all together trying to work with you to empower new generations and to empower what we have in order to make tourism greater again. So Jose from the team will send you via the chat all the links to apply to the Tourism Online Academy for free, to apply for free to the innovation challenges, and of course to join the UNWTO Innovation Network in order to make tourism better again. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best today during this journey.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you so much for this very useful information. We now have a guest speaker, Mr. Ala Khalifa, the CEO of Digital Experts for Innovative Tourism Marketing from Egypt. Mr. Ala.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Or good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's I'm talking to you on this wonderful webinar today to focus on the idea that post-COVID-19, we need to, first of all, we need to adapt, and we need to live with the new norm, because without living with the new norm, they will not be able to sustain a process of tourism for the upcoming years. First of all, let me state one thing important, is that there is no tourism without vaccine. So all what we are talking about right now is how to promote private sectors and tourism to come back again alive on its feet. We need to put in mind that there is no rise up without a vaccine. Until that vaccine comes up, until everything stabilizes, then what we need is to create a norm in which it will be the standard for every tourism sector, for all the stakeholders, until the new norm of that norm comes in and hits in with the new vaccine. In this regard, what I would like to emphasize is that tourism, the upcoming tourism is going to be all about adventure. It's going to be tourism adventure. It's going to be tranquility. It's going to be retaining confidence to travelers one more time. According to latest statistics, we know that we have nearly half the travelers are aiming now to travel once they are more confident of the new destination, once that destination is a green destination, and that will give them the right confidence to travel to that destination. However, the statistics shows that only 500 to 700 million are going to be traveling for the next 2 years until the full recovery of tourism, which means that right now private sector and DMOs need to adapt to the new norm. If they don't, they will be left behind. In this regard, we need to encourage private sector to adapt technology, adapt new applications. We need to advise private sector to increase of the social media channels usage, because social media today amplify word of mouth and also get people to trust. And also it's one of the most common things that people do today is that they have to do a holiday search and they have to find out more about a destination that is a safer destination in the first place out of the virus. Second thing that private sector also need to work on, especially for innovative ways, is to promoting the word of mouth. We need to understand that 90% of consumers nowadays say they trust recommendations from friends and families over any other types of advertising. Private sectors need to adapt for a lot of methodologies that are using innovative ways for marketing, such as SEO, email automation, ClickFunnels, videos, and all other different types of social media tactics. Also, one thing need to also put in mind is that we need to remind private sector in order to rise to embrace videos. Otherwise, they'll be left behind. Statistics shows that nearly 70% of the top 100% of any search result ever listing is all about videos. And viewers anywhere between 60 to 80% are more likely to buy after watching a video. It's very important that these stakeholders to be on social media at all times. It's very important to target right customers and always ask for referrals and reviews. Important that to use a lot of contents that focus on safety and focused on adventure. Post COVID-19, people are looking for these places, looking for adventure, looking to get out of groups and gatherings. It's very important that travel agencies in the Middle East and in the world today to optimize a responsive portal or a travel website. Very important for them to also understand that the next norm of the travel industry is to achieve sustainable and profitable future through technology and innovation. While we can maintain preventive measures for everyone to be safe. People today in this new day and era, they need to understand that tourism products are I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay. Right. What I was saying is that we must always remember that tourism product is a experience product. And we are now in an age of new information and communication technology, as my colleague here said a few minutes ago, and which is today is a very influential in tourism around the world. We need to understand that the industrialization of tourist services and the new information and communication technology and different new introduction of applications that the sustain tourism, the use of automation and the use of artificial intelligence are all making tourism more innovative than ever. We also need to understand that we need to educate the stakeholders in the private sector that this service industry is becoming more active into innovation by adopting and those adopting new technologies or new communication technologies. But private sector also need to adapt or they will be left behind. There are 4 main axes of innovations in tourism people have to keep in mind today. That there are a number of what we call regular innovations, which means promoting new investment and that raises productivity, training operators and front office staff to operate more efficiently and cost effective. Then it also put incremental raise on quality and staff. That's what people need to aim. There is a second axis or the second pillar, I would say, for this innovation phase is to do niche innovations, which will help people to promote an entry to new entrepreneurs to exploit more tourism business opportunities. It's very important that we need to look into this, exploit more business opportunities in the time of amid this crisis. Important to encourage firms to enter new alliances and make marketing alliances today. People are more aligned together more than ever. They need to also combine products in a new way. A third pillar, I would say, is a revisionary innovation. To have a revolution in innovations is to create a diffusion of new technology and modern application into type of tourism firms. We need to also introduce new applications that shift composition of staff, We need to manage attachment to the same markets, but we need to change the methodology to increase yields. The last pillar I would say is is what we call the architectural innovations, which mainly focus on creating new events, attractions that demand a reorganization. But these events have to be adapted through COVID-19 era or post-COVID-19, and also the architectural innovation helps in redefining the physical and the legal infrastructure, and creating centers of excellence that treat and disseminate new operational research based on knowledge. And at the end of my speech, I would say it's important that people in the Middle East or in the rest of the world to invest cautiously if the technology meets their needs and customers, and they need to adapt, otherwise they'll be left behind. They need to be on all channels, and they need to define their target audience, especially the audience that is post-COVID-19, the audience that needs to find safety and tranquility. They need also to develop partnership. My recommendation for all these stakeholders to develop partnership and new technology industry. And final is to step up penetration efforts. People have to work to penetrate again that market, the market that is becoming half the market share that is before. They need to work hard to get to it through portals, loyalty programs, and other things, and promoting safety in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. When you said niche innovations and combining products, can you give us some examples? Examples that you can share with us?
Today we have a situation, a norm in which we need to encourage stakeholders to recreate the innovation, recreate their products, put them together, look for a niche market that has these products appealing to them. For example, if you are working in the tourism industry and you need to offer classical type of tours, that it's important to adapt yourself right now and change that skin and start to adapt to what people are looking at. If you cannot find it, if you cannot create this content, and you know content nowadays is the king, if you cannot contain this content, see what is your most influential points of power that you'll be able to influence other agencies and go and align with them. It's important that people align together so they can fill in the gaps. So if I have a product that is not adaptable, is not acceptable post-COVID-19 in the new norm, that what I can do, I can adapt this product and I can combine it with another product from another partner in the industry, and we can combine it together. I can fill in the gap, the weakness gap of that partner, and this is the right alliances. This is putting the right product and the right niche.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I believe Mr. Sameh Saad is with us, CEO of Misr Travel. Mr. Sameh? Okay, until Mr. Sameh logs in, we have Mr. Karim Mohsen, CEO of Sylvia Tours, member of the board of the Egyptian Travel Agency Association. Mr. Karim? Mr. Karim, are you logged in?
Yes, I am, and good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. On the beach and enjoying this conversation. It's a very nice way to get in touch. I'll go into very fast into the way we have faced all the issues before. We are in Egypt and we have seen lots of these situations, unfortunately. I'm working in tourism since 1986. So we have been into the War of Gulf, 1990, where we stopped for a good 5-6 months. We have seen a wave of terrorism from 1992 to 1997, ending with the tragic problem of Luxor in 1997. We have seen the 2001, and then we had 2003, 2004, and 2005, all with issues. And it ended with the revolution 2011, where we stopped for a long time, but we never stopped completely like we did this way. So my recommendation for my people in our association is to wait the bad weather to pass, to go into the classical way, which is bad weather will go and the good weather will come. While we're waiting, what we should not do, in my opinion, is to invest now. We should not invest in anything economically that is not completely secured. The time of investment is when you have money. When you have money, it's the time to open new markets. It's the time to make new ideas. It's the time to invest in any new business that you are not completely secured of. This is the time now to wait and to use the time. Using the time is very important. We have stopped from mid-March and we are now mid-August. So we're talking about 5 months, and we expect that tourism is not coming back to Egypt anyway. Hopefully by October something maybe will happen, but not before January. So we're talking about a very long time of waiting. During this time, the most important thing is to keep the mind working. The mind working is one of the crucial things. Senior staff that are over 45 and who will stop working for like 6-7 months will take a very long time to go back to the routine of going to the office every day, waking up at 8 o'clock, at 7 o'clock to be in the office at 8 o'clock. It's going to be hard for lots of people. So what we should do now, in my opinion, is to keep at least the mind working. Just opening the emails every day, checking what is going on. There might be no emails for a long time, or maybe some news. But you should use the email to get in touch with your clients on at least weekly basis. You should keep on giving information, very soft information on emails, on WhatsApp, on social medias. You should keep writing, and you should keep in contact, because the bad times is the time when the agent is possibly forgetting you. And what you want and what you don't want is when business comes back, that half of your agents have been contacted from somebody else, and you are no longer the most important person for them. So in my point of view, you have to keep on opening your emails, entering your people, sending messages, sending videos. And in the same time, as an owner of a company, I should, in my point of view, if the government permits, to have weekly meetings. You have to make the people come to the office. Listen, make a meeting with all the precautions possible, but do not keep the people away from you. Training all the time. We have online training from the associations going on weekly basis. You should go into every single training, how to use the time, how to face crisis, or every single training is almost obligatory in our office. People should go and listen, and even if they stay 4 hours in front of a computer, they will get something. Training is not only online. If you will discover in our office, you will find lots of people working in operation that have never seen the pyramids, or have never seen the museum, or have never been to the citadel. People should go and move for their own self. Yes, we provide sometimes buses to go and to see these areas, but even by themselves, you can imagine somebody quoting every time and sending full-day museum, pyramids, or whatever, and they have never seen the museum, they've never seen the pyramid, they've never seen Saqqara, they don't know how long it takes, they don't know if the road is good or bad. This training on the spot are very important. My opinion for every owner is that the staff is the real asset of all companies. This is the time you have to invest your money, keeping the biggest number you can of your staff. It's a very hard thing to pay salaries without having any revenue. However, we have all seen that when tourism comes, it comes back very strong and very fast. And when it comes very fast, you'll never find anybody that is free to come back to work when they knows that with every crisis, you let them out. It's the time to keep your stuff. It's the time to pay the salaries. It's time even to find compromises with them, but it's not the time to lose the people that you will need in the future. What do we expect? We expect to have tourism. It will start slowly, and it will start with the beach tourism, because people will prefer to stay in areas that is open air. They will prefer to stay on the beach the whole day and only sleep in the room instead of staying in a boat that is closed, air conditioned. This probably will happen when Europe will open for Egypt. We don't know when it will be, probably maybe October, November. It will start slowly. The Red Sea will be the main area where people go. So that's what the expectation. The recommendation to the government is that they keep doing what they have been doing. The banks are giving loans to the travel agencies. They have exempted us for 6 months on our debts without interest. What we need is the government to help the private sector to survive, because lots of us will not survive, either companies, travel agencies, or hotels. So we hope that we can find the formula with the government that they will allow, they will invest in renovation of hotels and boats whenever tourism is coming back, and that they will help travel agencies to keep their stuff. They are giving loans to pay salaries, so they pay salary directly to the employees, which is very good, with a low percentage of interest. We would like this to continue, because this is the only way where we can guarantee that when tourism is back, we can serve the tourists the correct way. Thank you. Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you. Now we have Professor Wael Aziz. He's a professor of hotel management, Faculty of Tourism and Hotels in Mansoura University. Professor Wael.
Need to unmute.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon for everybody. Now I'm going to talk about the innovation healing solutions for the tourism private sector in the Middle East. As we know, tourism has been considered as an important sector in many countries for supporting the economy and generating many jobs opportunities. Well, as a result of a coronavirus pandemic, this sector has suffered in the following fields: hotels, travel agents, restaurants, bazaars, and diving centers. Well, governments provide various aids to tourism sector, but the question here is to what extent this aid is going to continue. The answer is, of course, it cannot continue forever. It had stopped or to be reduced to a minimum shortly. Now, talking about proposed solutions for this critical period, a scientific and practical approaches had to be taken, focusing on two main factors: long-term factor, which is a long-term action plan preparing for the consistency of tourism after the corona pandemic is over, and short-term plan, which is an immediate action plan, and it goes with the current event of each country. Now, if we're going to talk about the immediate short plan concerning hotels, I have chosen hotel because it have a lot of stuff. So we have some ideas inside the hotel and outside the hotel. Concerning the inside the hotel, concerning food and beverage and room sector, opening banquet halls to all sorts of meetings for companies, as well as encouraging hotel main restaurant as specialty restaurants to provide takeaway activities, activating outside catering for embassies, institutions, and individuals with competitive prices, enforcing the work of various sections of hotel food production, such as hot, cold, pastry, and bakery, and so on. Opening laundry for the public with reasonable prices, as well as opening business centers and healthy clubs, sports, playgrounds, kids club for the public, renting shuttle bus for schools. Concerning the activities outside of the hotel for the sector of rooms and administrative, establishing an agreement protocol with private security firms, and establishing an agreement protocol also with private business firms and factories to provide them with marketing and sales personnel, as well as establishing an agreement protocol also with cleaning and maintenance to provide companies to provide them with staff of housekeeping and maintenance. And establishing an agreement protocol also with different companies, factories to train their employees in various soft skills such as supervisory and managerial topics, language, and etc. Concerning the long-term factor, I'm talking about here establishing a ministerial consultancy council. This is number one. As a result of coronavirus pandemic, air travel has suffered greatly, either by stopping altogether or by the reduction of its capacity. Furthermore, the health restrictions enforced by governments to protect their citizens within its border or abroad. Thus, we must find a common formula by establishing a ministerial consultancy council. In every country consists of Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Tourism, Minister of Information, Minister of Aviation, and Minister of Health as a comprehensive team to study and put together an action plan with their peers in various parts of the world. Number two, establishing touristic mergers with multinational companies. According to GATT and GATS, towards freedom of transportation of people and capital, we must expand protocols of ownership agreements among different countries of the world. Each country must determine the countries it receives tourists from and put forth leaves to tourist for, and put forth leaves to encourage mergers between tourism entities such as major hotel management companies as well as major travel agents, with the recommendation of establishing mergers between economical unit 5 was establish their speeds the tourism business as it benefits both parties. Thank you.
Thank you. We have now Dr. Osama Ibrahim. Dr. Osama is a professor of tourism guidance at Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University in Saudi Arabia. Dr. Osama? Dr. Osama, are you with us? Okay, until Dr. Osama logs in, we would like to welcome Ms. Jessica Patel, CEO of Airside. And she's also a UNWTO startup finalist. Jessica? Please.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, good morning, everybody. If it's okay, can I share our presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, thank you. So hi, everybody. My name is Jessica Patel. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for Airside. So this morning, what I wanted to share is a few different things. I wanted to start with just some of the trends we're seeing. Our organization is participating in a number of recovery work groups around the world as we have customers in every region. So some of the top trends that we're seeing are around the following categories. A lot of companies in the travel industry are looking for various testing options, both including antigen and antibody test results for both their employees and their travelers that can be shared with various travel providers. Some are looking for self-reporting capabilities, which basically involve a traveler or an employee being able to report their symptoms. You know, do I have a fever? Have I lost a sense of taste or anything else like that, either to the local government or even maybe to, you know, a destination, a travel company, restaurants, and anything that may impact our industry. From a public health perspective, we're seeing that certain countries are adding a requirement for travelers to share their contact information. And so effectively, if it is found out that, you know, they've, for example, flown in on a vessel that may have been carrying somebody who turns out to be COVID positive, that individual can easily be contacted, you know, for further testing and for quarantining to ensure that there's no further spread. Tracing has become a big topic as well in terms of whether we're able to use device-based tracing, you know, mostly in the area of Bluetooth, as announced by Google and Apple. The seamless and touchless technology is also, we're seeing a major acceleration around the world, where previously biometric technology, I think, was really more focused on as part of you know, capacity planning and innovation and traveler satisfaction in the airport. We're really seeing a shift to, you know, now the safety elements of the fact that biometric technology can enable touchlessness and reduce the need to touch a document that any other individual needs to touch. And finally, we're seeing an increase in safety policies, everything around mask and glove requirements to increased hygiene practices at various locations. And so kind of building on that into where our sector is really, a lot of folks are focused on the, you know, kind of tangible security elements of ensuring that we're not spreading the disease. But what's important too is, you know, the traveler's peace of mind. So some of the considerations that we've seen come up from travelers or from privacy watchdogs in a variety of regions are the following. So security. Many of these solutions are reliant on access to very sensitive data, may they be biometrics or personal information such as passport information and so on. And so there's a real concern around how the data security of that information is being managed, especially by the private sector. Privacy. So, you know, travelers are increasingly aware and concerned about how their data is being managed. Of course, some regions are impacted by privacy regulations such as GDPR. And so having something that's really user controlled and consent driven is pretty critical to maintaining a peace of mind for travelers to be willing to share this, you know, whether it may be their health information, their testing results, or their identity information in order to travel again. And finally, reliability. So maintaining a chain of custody. I think this one's really important in terms of the user needs to feel a reliability of any solutions that they're using and understand what the security features are. And for travel companies, I think that they're really looking to see that, you know, wherever the data may come from, to the extent possible that a chain of custody is maintained from that test result, for example, through to the travel provider. So airside, you know, as was mentioned, we were really honored to be recognized by the UNWTO as a top innovator for healing solutions globally a couple of months ago. 9 companies were chosen from over 1,000 applicants around the world. And so a little bit about our solution and I think why we were recognized. So Airside is a leading pioneer in digital identity and privacy management. Our vision is privacy for everyone, everywhere in an information sharing world. And we're doing this by empowering our customers with a secure and convenient solution that allows them to manage and share their information without compromising integrity. So what it is in particular is we're equipping consumers with an app. It's called Airside. It's our namesake. And what it allows them to do is control their information on a transparent basis. So they're controlling which information they're sharing. It can be a COVID test result. It can be a passport. It can be any other form of accepted ID. Who they're sharing it with, a government, an airline, a hotel, or any other local provider or destination, for example. Why they're sharing it, and many times in this case, it's because of COVID and public health safety. And for how long, and you can determine it's the length of the trip. You can determine that it's 14 days or any incubation you determine is appropriate for your destination associated with COVID. And the app is available on Apple and Android and can be downloaded for free. And then for the relying party, which is businesses or destinations, they would use our proprietary API. It's called Airside X. And what it's allowing them to do is access the sensitive information on a time-bound basis. So it prevents the need for them to have to store the information to create any kind of central database of COVID test results, any kind of central database of health results or IDs, which can be very sensitive. It allows them to just on a one-to-one basis for a specified period of time, access the information, and then their encryption, their decryption basically goes away. This reduces the burden of complying with privacy regulations for any organizations that participate, and they're able to pay on a transaction fee basis. So what this really is allowing travelers to do is a single enrollment. So we're seeing around the world all these disparate programs that are, this country requiring this and this hotel chain requiring that. And it's creating, I think, a lot of friction for travelers, where if we're able to create this interoperable ID account solution, a traveler is able to enroll their COVID test result for the life of their result, or their passport for the life of their passport, and then use it in more than one location. And we think that reducing friction is going to be one of the major elements, that along with a peace of mind to bringing travelers back to our industry. And so 3 specific recovery programs in particular that Airside has really invested their time in the last few months include testing. So we are starting to partner up with labs around the world to offer both COVID and antibody test results that can be sourced from a lab directly into the app and then shared seamlessly with any travel providers or destinations or governments. What we call our public health plan. And so this is where we're enabling travelers to seamlessly share, whether it's contact information for contact sharing, test results, or any other sensitive information with a local travel company or public health authority, and seamless and touchless. And this is how we're using our interoperable technology to enable biometrics around the world. So I won't go into all of the details here, but the key details that are being covered here are that everything is source confirmed, right? So we believe in source confirmed data instead of a traveler self-reporting or having to carry paperwork, which again may involve somebody else having to touch the documents. What's best is if the information can be sent from a lab directly into somebody's app. That way there's a peace of mind and a reliability behind the information. And then the individual is in full control of how and when it's being shared. So to see this specifically, the way it would work is an individual would download the app. They can consent to adding their COVID or antibody test result to their overall profile. And then they're consenting to share with it. May that be with their travel industry employer, which is giving both their employer as well as, passengers and travelers a peace of mind, or as a traveler to give their destination, their fellow travelers a peace of mind. And everything we do, as you can see here to the right, also is providing an audit log so that you are always aware of where your data's gone and how it's been used and when it's been shared. And so, the same test result as we can see here, once the test is added into the app, can be shared both with the travel employer, with the travel provider, and by the way, outside of travel as well, we also have solutions outside of our industry. And I think that that matters because, again, creating that frictionless experience for travelers is, I think, going to be really critical to bringing them back to our industry. From public health, and actually it's probably easier to concentrate on this screen. For public health, we're offering solutions that allow public health organizations, DMOs, and governments to collect both contact tracing information, symptomology, or any other information they may need to capture. So in this example here, travelers are able to select the travelers by adding their passport information. They're able to add in their flight details, including, what the carrier is and when they flew, contact information such as email address and phone number. Some countries that are working with us have chosen to add some symptomology questions as well to see if somebody has any COVID-related symptoms. They get a very transparent consent as to which government or public health authority it's being shared with and for what period. And then there's two options. Either they can do this before departure and the air carrier can ensure that they've done it, or they can share it with the public health authority and be checked upon landing that they're either in the database or they can be scanning their app in some way. And finally, the seamless and touchless, by using one common digital identity, the solution can take somebody from couch to destination, if you will, by using the same app to check in. They're able to do biometrics for a bag drop, checkpoints, lounge access, boarding, and landing, and then even beyond the airport into hotels, cruise lines, and other areas of other areas of travel as well. And again, this is preventing the need to touch documents from multiple individuals. We've partnered with a variety of biometrics providers around the world, and so we are technology agnostic. And just a few statistics about us. We do have about 8.7 million members today using our digital identity solutions, for whom we've been able to provide 12 million convenient experiences and save over 2 million hours. We're able to process over 100,000 transactions a second. So, we can scale up to meet the global industry. And as we shared, we were recognized as a top solution by the UNWTO recently. And we've been recognized by major press outlets as well. And that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Jessica. I believe you will receive many questions about either from us or from the participants, asking you probably to customize the airside solutions in their countries and communities. We also would like to encourage everyone here to use airside application and to spread the word as well. Thank you, Jessica. I think Mr. Ala wants to ask you a question.
Sure.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Wonderful solution that you have here, and I would like to ask you just a few questions just to clarify. Is your solution multilingual?
It isn't yet, but it will be in the next few months. So we are working on a global project currently in which we're going to be adding solutions, and I can confirm that Arabic is one of our first languages that's going to be released probably in the next 3 to 6 months.
Second question, is it in both stores? Is it Android and iOS?
Yes, it's going to be. So it's actually, it's formally launching on August 24th, and it will be available in iOS and Android at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We now have Mr. Sameh Saad. I think he's back. He's logged in.
Yes. Hello. I'm sorry I was out for a meeting. I couldn't really. I couldn't get stuck from this meeting. But actually, yes. I mean, I have been partly in this discussion, and I don't want to add anything more than what my colleagues said. But as we said, all that we are all suffering. The government here are doing well. The Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tourism. Just we are waiting for the customers, the clients. I have been this morning as well on a big webinar with different companies working in the same business in different world. Each country is not ready yet. We will have a few people, but hopefully soon we'll start to get traffic as soon as the vaccine comes out. I'm sorry, I don't want to say more because I haven't been following what the others said, so I don't want to repeat anything else. Thank you very much. I hope next time I will be more active and I will give more time because I have been always participating on all webinars and talking to different mentalities in the business. My company is a big public company, Must Travel, so we have hotels, we have everything. Next time I will be more active and I will give more information. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we have Dr. Osama Ibrahim. Dr. Osama.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for inconvenience, but you know, the technical problems happen all the time. Actually, since I'm a professor of tourism guidance, I would like to highlight the issue of tourism guidance at the moment. You know that tour guides are the one of the most vulnerable groups work in tourism, and they actually work as freelancers, often work as freelancers. So they face difficulties at the moment. They suffer because they have significant drops in activities and income. Of course, the government and the tourism guidance syndicate in Egypt, for example, they try to help, but at the same time, the modest fiscal and maybe monetary help and support given by the government and given by the tourism guidance syndicate is not enough at all to stabilize and to ensure and incentivize their job retention. So actually many tour guides decided to leave this job for good. Many of them, especially that they realize, they understand that the international tourism will never stabilize and return to back to normal before the production and the distribution of vaccine and the treatment, definitive treatment and vaccine for COVID-19. Actually, they are sure that domestic tourism, of course, domestic tourism is a solution, but they are sure that domestic tourism will not help them. The culture of the domestic tourists is not to take guide and go to the cultural places, especially that according to the UNWTO reports, the cultural tourism will recover slower than leisure tourism. And this is another reason why tourist guides are worried, and they have the right to worry actually about their future, and they most of them change their job or change their route. So now tour guides are pretty sure that not before 2022 they can get back slowly to their normal situation in terms of their jobs. And since this is the case, and they are sure that this is the case, and all the reports coming from all over the world assuring this fact, so recovery plans should ensure the solidarity and to incentivize job retention of tour guides. And since they are one of the most vulnerable groups working in the field of tourism. One possible solution that copes with what Natalia said in the very far beginning, she said that she mentioned three key ideas. She mentioned empowering entrepreneurial minds. She mentioned sustainability is a must, and innovation and facing the digital world. One possible solution that can help tourist guides is to tend towards the virtual tourism guidance. Virtual tourism guidance, especially that virtual environments are increasingly present in people's life nowadays. And the virtual experience economy can solve the problem of the tourist guides, because they provide tourists, they can accelerate their businesses and guarantees job retention for tourist guides. But how can we do this? Actually, tour guides should be trained on how they create the virtual storytelling, for example. What modern technology can be used to create the virtual business. What free tools are available and they can use. Free tools available on the internet they can use, and how they use it. How to create and publish the virtual experience. So they have to have very good digital skills. One very important point also is how to put all of this, how to reflect all of this in the curricula in education, back to education. The new generations of tour guides should be aware of the development of tourist guides or tour guides profession, and actually to embed this virtual experience economy in the curricula needs training for the teachers themselves, and training for even the professors in the university of how to use this, and the importance of embedding such important endeavor in the curricula. This is all. Thank you very much, and I welcome any question from the panel or from the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is a question for Dr. Osama?
Dr. Osama.
Hello, Dr. Ahmed.
My name is Ala Khalifa.
How
would you replace conventional tourist guiding with virtual reality that you mentioned in your talk? I think, in my opinion, it's very hard to replace that. Tourism, in the very beginning, it's all about experience. And if you don't provide that kind of commentary and content to your tourists and experience, there would be no experience to live in. So I don't think virtual reality will be able to replace a real interactive tourist guide during this crisis. However, what I think is that we can utilize the use of modern technology to enhance communicative ways between tourist guide and travelers.
I agree with you, Dr. Ala, that the face-to-face communication between tourist guides and the tourists are inevitable. The same as education. The face-to-face education cannot be replaced by online education. 100% I agree with you. But now we provide for, let's say, 3-4 years from now, a substitution for the problems facing face-to-face communication between guides and groups, especially that groups might reach up to 50 tourists, for example. Even if lower than this or fewer than this, still a problem in nowadays pandemic of COVID-19. But actually, there are many successful stories that they succeeded in creating their own virtual experience economy. Wonderful entrepreneurial solutions done by the many tour guides. They successful in creating their virtual storytelling, and they published it online. They succeeded in marketing it online, and they had followers who subscribed, who paid dollars for joining this kind of virtual tours. So we have successful stories, especially that tourists themselves, psychologically, tourists do not accept seeing people face to face at the moment, or even they are afraid of traveling. So they don't, and people who are fond of traveling and knowing different cultures and identifying different places, especially in terms of cultural tourism, they tend to join this virtual tours designed by the tour guides. All what tour guides needs to do is to get trained on what's live stream, for example, how they can do it, how they produce high quality videos, how they can add their own comment and their own explanation to the video or to the live stream. So it is hard because tour guides were, let's say, paid only attention to culture, to the new ideas, new excavation reports to read, and they are a little bit away of this digital skills. But I think they can, if they get trained by the university, by other bodies, I think they can do it, and we have successful stories for this.
Thank you. Ms. Basma, there is a question I've received from one of the audience. Would you please give me a minute to answer that question?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Ms. Ines have asked me a question about the statistics that I've mentioned in my talk. Right. I would like to, she asked also about the sources of these interesting statistics. You have to understand something, Ines. Extremely important to understand that this time, it's important that we have to realize the importance of analytics. Analytics in tourism and in the travel industry in general is the most important factor in making the right decision. Without analytics, we are like blind people in a very bright room. Content marketing is very, very important for this industry. Content is the king. 67% are more likely to book with any travel brand that give them relevant and available information. And these statistics are listed by Google. There is another impressive statistics listed by Google or sourced from Google, is that travelers want inspiration and want to make a perfect choice. It shows that 65% of people are more likely to engage on reviews and that from a second party. There is another interesting statistics. 85% of Facebook videos today are watched without sound. This is why when you are browsing your Facebook wall, you normally notice that there is a lot of interesting videos, and sometimes you don't run the sounds, but most of these videos have got text on them. The reason that marketers realize that 85% of Facebook videos are watched without sound, so they start putting text on them. This text can capture the audience with imagery and caption. There's another interesting statistics, and this actually very, very interesting statistic is that we have 60% of research on destination. Like if your destination United Arab Emirates, if your destination is Spain or Italy, you have 60% of the destination information. They come or done on a mobile device. That's the reason why it's important that if you have a travel portal, is to make it mobile responsive. It is very important that your website has to be responsive. And finally, a very shocking, interesting statistics is that word of mouth is the most important thing. 92% of customers say they trust recommendations from friends and family above any other type of advertising. 65% who are more likely, as I said, to book with you, they simply go to third-party reviews, but word of mouth from friends and families are the most important. So take care. Videos, social media, and reviews and reputation management are the most important factors to put when you do content marketing. That's my answer to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Due to the time, we need to end this webinar. we'll be happy to receive your questions, and we'll provide you with the answers and any information that's required. It will be included in in the minutes that will be sent to you in 2 days. Also, feel free to contact us at the Regional Department for the Middle East at UNWTO. The email is rdme@unwto.org. It's been very nice having you all. It's been a very fruitful discussion. We heard so many solutions and ideas and that are implemented in the region and may be implemented in the region. After all, we're one world, and I hope we get together soon on a similar webinar with more ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure
Thank
to
you
be
very
with you.
much.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you.